Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
am.
You ready to unlock some serious classroom magic?
Always
Today we're exploring the world of effective teaching strategies.
on them.
We'll be taking a close look at a chapter called Selecting and Implementing Strategies of Instruction.
So it's good.
It's from the book Developing the Curriculum by Peter Oliva and William Gordon.
Right.
Now this chapter, it really emphasizes the importance of defining those key terms right off the bat.
Yeah.
We've got style, we've got model, we've got method and skills.
It might seem basic,
Yeah,
but these distinctions
Yeah.
are so important when you're making decisions about
Yeah.
your teaching.
absolutely.
You know how some teachers just have that like high energy and they love to do hands-on activities.
Totally.
And then you have others who are a little more laid back
Yeah,
and prefer those in-depth discussions.
right.
Well, that's their teaching style.
Uh-huh.
It's like their teaching fingerprint.
I love that.
And what's really interesting is that research has suggested that certain styles
Oh,
might actually be a better fit for certain types of learners.
okay, so that makes total sense.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen that play out in my own classroom.
For sure.
So then where does model fit into all of this?
Well, think of a teaching model as a more general framework
Okay,
or approach.
got it.
It's like a blueprint that you can adapt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about forcing yourself into a box,
Right.
but having a structure to help guide your decisions.
That makes sense.
So, for example, if you believe in active learning,
Yeah.
that might be your overarching model.
Mm-hmm.
And then within that model, you would choose specific methods that bring that to life.
Okay, so the model is like the big picture.
I just
and then
said
the
it.
methods are the...
The methods are the specific techniques
Okay, got it.
that you use.
So if your model is active learning,
Right.
your methods might be...
Your methods could be things like debates,
Oh, yeah.
role-playing,
Yeah.
or even project-based learning.
I like it.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget about skills.
Yes.
This is where I think all of our professional development comes in.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about the
Yeah.
specific abilities you need to really make those methods work.
Right. So some skills are what we call generic,
Okay.
meaning they're essential across all subjects.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're giving clear instructions,
Yeah.
managing a classroom effectively,
Yep.
or creating a positive and supportive learning environment.
Those are like the fundamentals.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then we have those special skills that are,
Yes.
unique to a particular subject
Right.
or grade level.
A kindergarten teacher needs a different skill set
Totally.
than a high school physics teacher.
For sure.
But having that foundation
Yeah.
of those generic skills
Yes.
makes it much easier to acquire and master those specialized skills.
So really understanding these terms is like having a roadmap
Yeah.
for professional growth as educators.
Totally.
It helps us figure out where our strengths are
Mhm.
and then also where we might need to,
Yeah.
focus our development.
Absolutely.
So now that brings us to the heart of the chapter, which is instructional strategies.
Yeah.
And the authors highlight a bunch of different strategies.
They do.
We've got lectures, we've got discussions, independent study,
Mm-hmm.
hands-on activities.
Mhm.
I mean, it can feel a bit overwhelming.
It can.
Like, where do you even begin to choose?
Yeah. Where do you start?
Right.
Yeah.
So luckily, the chapter gives us some guidance
Okay.
by outlining several sources of inspiration for picking the right strategies.
I like it.
And guess what the first one is?
What's that?
Objectives.
Objectives.
It all starts with knowing where you want to go,
You got to know where you're going.
right? What are your goals for this lesson, for this unit, for this
Yeah.
course?
Right.
Your objectives are like your compass.
That's a great way to put it.
They guide every decision you make about what and how to teach. So, okay, that one's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But then it gets interesting because the next source of inspiration
Okay.
is the subject matter itself.
Okay.
How does that influence our strategies?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
Teaching computer programming
Mm-hmm.
requires a very different approach than teaching creative writing.
Right.
The content itself suggests the best ways to teach it.
That's true.
Some subjects lend themselves to hands-on activities,
Yeah.
while others might be better suited to in-depth discussions or research projects.
Makes sense. So we've got objectives, we've got subject matter.
Uh-huh.
What's next?
What's next?
Oh, wait, I know this one.
Okay.
It's the pupils.
The pupils.
And this is where it gets really exciting for me.
I agree.
Because now we shift from focusing on the what to the who.
Hmm.
We can't just assume that we know what's best for our students.
Right.
We have to get to know them as individuals,
Yep.
their learning styles,
Mhm.
their interests, their strengths, their challenges,
All of it.
right?
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like your teaching style just wasn't clicking
Oh, yeah?
with a particular student?
Definitely.
It's like you're speaking different languages.
Absolutely.
So that's why understanding their learning preferences
Yes.
is so crucial.
Super important.
Some students thrive in groups,
Right.
while others need that quiet, independent space.
Exactly.
And it's not just about, catering to their preferences. It's
Yeah.
about empowering them to take ownership of their learning.
I love that.
We can involve them in the planning process, ask for their input on activities,
Yeah.
give them choices whenever possible.
It all makes a difference.
So we've got objectives, subject matter pupils.
Okay.
What's that fourth source of inspiration?
What is it?
This one might surprise you.
Okay.
It's the community.
The community.
We don't teach in a vacuum.
That's true.
We're part of a larger social fabric,
We are.
and that fabric influences our choices.
Yeah, I can see that.
So can you give me an example of how community values might actually shape the teacher's approach?
Absolutely. So let's say you're teaching a unit on evolution
Okay.
in a community where there are really strong religious beliefs about creationism.
Right.
You don't have to shy away from the science,
Yeah.
but you do need to be sensitive to those beliefs
Right.
and find ways to present the information
Yes.
in a way that respects diverse viewpoints.
That is such an important point.
It is.
It's about being culturally responsive and
Yes.
creating a learning environment that is inclusive
Yes.
and welcoming
Absolutely.
for everyone.
For everyone.
And then finally, that fifth source of inspiration
I-
is perhaps the most personal one.
Okay, what is it?
The teacher.
The teacher.
Our own beliefs.
Yeah.
Our values, our experiences, and yes,
It's
even
in-
our personalities
Right.
shape the way we teach.
For sure.
So this is where that distinction between style and model
Yes.
comes back into play.
It does.
Remember, your style is inherent. It's who you are as a teacher. It's how you connect with students, how you create that classroom culture, how
Okay.
you bring the content to life.
And it's not about trying to fit ourselves into some kind of mold.
Right.
It's about finding models that resonate with our style
I love that.
and then adapting them to create our own unique and effective approach.
And it's about being open
Yes.
to exploring different models.
Definitely.
Even if something seems outside your comfort zone,
Right.
you might be surprised at how much it energizes your teaching
Totally.
and engages your students.
Absolutely.
That reminds me of when I first started teaching.
Oh, yeah.
I was so focused on finding that one perfect teaching method.
Oh, remember that.
Like if I just found the right formula, everything would fall into place.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's easy to fall into that trap,
It is.
especially
You know.
when you're starting out,
Yeah, you want that roadmap.
right?
You want those rules to follow.
Yeah.
But the truth is, teaching is more of an art than a science.
Oh, and thank goodness for that.
I know, right?
It's that element of creativity, of intuition
Exactly.
that makes teaching so rewarding.
For sure.
But the chapter also makes a strong case
It does.
for the science of teaching.
Okay.
It's not just about instinct and passion.
Right.
We have a wealth of research and evidence-based practices to draw upon.
Absolutely.
You've probably experienced this yourself.
Oh, for sure.
That magical moment when a carefully planned lesson
Yes.
sparks genuine curiosity in your students.
I love that.
That's the art of teaching in action.
It is.
But understanding things like child development,
Mhm.
learning theories, and assessment strategies
Yes.
can help you create those moments
Right.
more consistently.
More consistently, yes.
It's like having a secret weapon.
It is.
You can use those insights
Yeah.
to design lessons that are not only engaging,
Right.
but also effective
Yes.
in promoting deep learning.
Absolutely.
So it's this beautiful dance
It is a dance.
between art and science.
Yes.
We bring our own unique style and creativity to the
Elevating
table,
the table.
but we also ground our practice in
Yes.
what research tells us about how students learn best.
I love that.
And that's what makes teaching so dynamic
It does.
and fascinating.
It really does.
We're constantly learning,
Yes.
growing and evolving our craft.
Always.
Speaking of evolving, the chapter wraps up
Okay.
by shifting gears to the practical side of teaching,
Yeah.
planning, and organization.
Right.
It emphasizes the need for a structured approach
Mm-hmm.
with 3 levels of planning,
Okay.
long-range unit, and daily.
It's like building a house.
Yeah.
You start with that blueprint,
Okay.
the overall vision,
Mhm.
and then you break it down into smaller,
Yeah.
more manageable chunks.
So long-range planning is that big picture view.
Exactly.
It's setting the course for the entire year or semester.
the roadmap for your teaching journey.
I like that.
What are the key learning goals?
Right.
What are the major units or themes that we'll be exploring?
Exactly. And then within that roadmap,
Mm-hmm.
you have your unit plans.
Okay.
These are more focused chunks of learning
Got it.
that delve deeper into specific topics.
So unit plans are like chapters
Yes,
in the bigger story of the course.
exactly.
Each unit has its own set of objectives, activities, and assessments.
And to break it down even further,
Yeah.
we have our daily lesson plans.
Okay.
These are the nitty-gritty details of what you'll be doing in
I like
each class, period.
I like it.
What specific activities are you going to use?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to assess student learning?
Right.
What materials will you need?
It's like a cascading effect.
It is.
We start with that grand vision.
Yeah.
Then we zoom in to those focused units. And finally, we break it down into those day-to-day actions that bring it all to life.
And the key is to make sure that all of these levels of planning are aligned and integrated. That makes sense.
Your daily lessons should build towards your unit objectives. And your unit objectives should align with your overall course goals.
It's not just about having a plan.
It's not.
It's about having a cohesive and purposeful plan
Exactly.
where each piece fits together seamlessly.
A unified whole.
Yes.
And that's where the real magic happens.
I like that.
When you have that clarity of purpose and that structured approach to planning, you free up so much mental energy
Right.
to focus on what matters most.
Yes.
Connecting with your students
Absolutely.
and creating those magical learning moments.
This has been incredibly insightful. But before we wrap up, I want to make sure we touch on some of those advanced teaching techniques that go beyond the basics.
Yeah.
So the chapter mentions personalized instruction, differentiated instruction, scaffolding, cooperative learning, and technology integration.
Wow, that's a lot.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot to unpack, but they all build upon those foundational principles that we've been discussing.
Exactly.
So let's start with personalized instruction.
Oh?
This is a hot topic in education these days.
It is.
What exactly does it mean?
Right.
And how does it differ from traditional teaching?
So personalized instruction is all about tailoring the learning experience to meet the unique needs of each student.
Got it.
It recognizes that students learn at different paces.
Right.
They have different strengths and weaknesses and even different interests and goals.
Okay, so instead of a one-size-fits-all approach,
We're
creating a more customized learning path.
A customized learning path
For each student. I like it.
Yeah, think about it.
Okay.
In a traditional classroom, everyone gets the same lecture, the same textbook, the same homework assignment, but with personalized instruction. We can differentiate the content, the process or the product based on individual needs.
So can you give me some real-world examples of how this might play out?
Absolutely. So let's say you're teaching a unit on fractions.
Okay.
Your objective is for students to understand equivalent fractions. But you have students with diverse needs.
Right.
Some might grasp it quickly with a quick visual demonstration, while others need more hands-on practice with manipulatives.
Got it.
So you might differentiate the process by offering multiple pathways to learning. Some students might work on online simulations, while others use physical fraction circles.
So how about differentiating the product then?
Okay, so instead of a standard worksheet, you might offer students choice in how they demonstrate their understanding.
I like that.
Some might create a poster, others might write a song, and still others might build a model.
Wow. I love how this approach really empowers students to take ownership of their learning.
Absolutely.
It's not just about absorbing information. It's about actively engaging with it in a way that makes sense for them.
In a way that makes sense for them.
And that's where scaffolding comes in.
That is where scaffolding comes in.
Right.
Yeah.
Scaffolding is a key strategy for supporting personalized and differentiated learning. It's about providing that temporary support to help students bridge the gap between what they already know and what they're striving to learn.
Building a bridge to the next level.
I love that.
Of understanding.
Building a bridge.
Yeah. So think of it as like a gradual release of responsibility.
Okay.
You might start by modeling a new skill or concept, then provide guided practice, and finally allow students to work independently as they gain confidence and mastery.
So scaffolding is all about setting students up for success.
It is.
Providing the right amount of support at the right time.
Absolutely.
Helping them build the skills and knowledge they need to thrive.
I agree.
And that brings us to cooperative learning.
Cooperative learning.
This is another one of my favorites.
This is a good one.
Cooperative learning is all about harnessing the power of teamwork.
Yes.
It's about structuring activities where students work together in small groups to achieve a shared goal.
I love incorporating group work into my lesson.
Me too.
It's amazing to see how students can learn from each other and build those essential social and emotional skills along the way.
And there's so much research to support the benefits of cooperative learning.
Yeah.
It not only enhances academic achievement.
It does.
But it also promotes positive social interactions. It builds self-esteem and develops those crucial 21st century skills like communication, collaboration, and problem solving.
Absolutely.
And of course, we can't talk about advanced teaching techniques without mentioning technology.
Technology.
It's become such an integral part
of
education these days.
It really has.
Technology has the power to transform the learning experience.
Yes.
It can personalize instruction. It can provide access to a wealth of information. It can facilitate collaboration and make learning more engaging and interactive.
For sure.
I'm thinking about all the incredible tools that we have
at
our fingertips.
Yeah.
You know, we've got educational apps, online simulations, virtual reality experiences, interactive whiteboards.
It's incredible.
I mean, the possibilities are endless.
They really are.
The key is to use technology intentionally. And thoughtfully. It's not about replacing the teacher, but about enhancing what we do. And creating more dynamic and effective learning environments.
Absolutely.
So we've explored all of these amazing advanced teaching techniques.
Yes.
What does this all mean? How do we bring all of this together to create a truly impactful learning experience for our students?
Yeah, that's the question. I feel like we've been given this incredible toolkit. But the real skill is knowing which tool to use.
And when.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The big takeaway for me is that effective teaching, it's not one size fits all.
You got it.
It's about being responsive to your students, embracing flexibility, and constantly trying to improve your practice.
And I love that you said responsive.
Yeah.
Because it highlights how collaborative teaching really is.
It is.
It's not just about us standing at the front of the classroom, you know, like dictating knowledge.
Exactly.
It's about creating this environment where students feel seen and heard.
And empowered.
Yes.
It's about meeting them where they are. And guiding them towards those aha moments.
I love
those understanding.
Those aha moments, and that's where all these strategies come in.
That's where they come in.
That we've been talking about.
Yes.
It's like we're weaving a tapestry. And each strategy is a different thread.
Oh, I like that.
Right? That contributes to the richness and complexity.
The final product.
Yeah, and it brings us back
to
those sources of inspiration that we talked about earlier.
Right.
Our objectives, our subject matter, our students, our community, and even ourselves.
Yeah.
They all play a part.
They do.
In shaping that tapestry of effective teaching.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to pose the question back to you, our listeners.
Yeah.
What one strategy are you most excited to try out or refine in your own teaching?
Maybe you're inspired to personalize your instruction. Maybe you're going to offer more choices in how students demonstrate their learning. Yeah.
Or maybe you're finally ready to jump into the world of cooperative learning.
I love it.
And design some really collaborative projects.
Yes.
That'll get your students excited.
Or maybe you've been a little hesitant to use technology in your classroom, but now you're seeing the potential it has to really transform the learning experience.
I think whatever it is, we encourage you to take that next step.
Yes.
Experiment, reflect.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to try something new.
Teaching is a journey of continuous learning and growth. It's about embracing the art and the science of our craft. And constantly seeking ways to improve. And create those more engaging and effective and empowering learning experiences for our students.
Absolutely. And remember, you don't have to go it alone.
That's right.
There's this amazing community of educators who are out there ready to support and inspire you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks.
On this deep dive into effective teaching strategies. We hope you've gained some valuable insights today.
We do.
And that you're leaving feeling energized and ready to spark those aha moments.
Those aha moments.
In your classroom.
In your classroom.
Don't forget to check out the show notes for links to additional resources.
Lots of great resources.
And keep those light bulbs shining bright, everyone.
Keep them shining bright. Yeah, it feels like we've got this amazing toolkit now.
Yeah.
But the real question is how to use it.
Right.
The biggest thing for me is that effective teaching.
Yeah.
It's not a one-size-fits-all.
For sure.
It's about being flexible.
Right.
It's about being responsive to your students' needs.
Yeah, and being responsive is such a good word.
Yeah.
Because it really emphasizes how collaborative teaching is.
Yeah, it's a partnership.
It is.
You're not just standing there and lecturing.
Right.
You're working with your students.
Yeah, it's about creating that environment where they feel seen,
heard, empowered.
That's the key.
Yeah.
It's about meeting them where they are,
right,
and helping them get to those aha moments.
I love those aha moments.
That's aha moments.
And that's where all these strategies we've been talking about come in.
That's where they all fit in.
It's like we're creating this beautiful tapestry.
I like that.
And each strategy is a thread.
A thread.
That adds to the richness and complexity.
It all comes together.
The final piece.
And it all goes back to those sources of inspiration.
Yes.
The objectives, the subject matter, the students, the community, and even ourselves.
They all play a part.
They all contribute.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to turn it over to you, our listeners.
Okay.
What one strategy are you most excited?
Ooh, that's a good question.
To try or refine in your own teaching?
Maybe you're thinking about personalizing your instruction.
Maybe you're going to offer more choices for your students. Maybe you're going to try cooperative learning.
I love it.
Design some fun collaborative projects.
Or maybe you're ready to embrace technology in the classroom.
Technology can be so powerful.
It can be.
Whatever it is, we encourage you to take that next step.
Absolutely.
Experiment. Reflect. And don't be afraid to try new things.
Yes. Teaching is a journey.
It is a journey.
Of continuous learning and growth.
Always learning, always growing.
And it's about finding that balance between the art and the science of what we do.
And always looking for ways to improve.
And create those more engaging and effective and empowering learning experiences for our students.
And you're not alone.
That's right.
There's this whole community of amazing educators out there.
Yes, a supportive community.
Ready to support and inspire you.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
It went by so fast.
I know it did.
But it was fun.
It was so fun. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
Into effective teaching strategies. We hope you learned some new things.
We hope you did.
And that you feel inspired to try some new strategies in your own classroom.
Yes, try something new.
Don't forget to check out the show notes.
Yes.
For links to additional resources.
So many great resources.
And keep those light bulbs shining bright, everyone.
Shine bright, everyone.